Hello, friends. I hope you've had a wonderful week. I had a good week. Very eventful week. A lot was going on. A lot happened with my family, and mostly good stuff. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Nothing too crazy. Let's breathe. Close your eyes. Think of the place that you want to be. Imagine that you're there. Relax. Be with me tonight. Take a deep breath in and let it out as you reach for the sky and make your round arches. Tonight we may do that several times because tonight is our Omnipotence night. It's a very special night tonight. When you were created, when you were designed, you were created with omnipotence in your makeup as part of the essence of being your human, being a human. Which means that you have a relationship with God. You are, as we all are, a very special animal. We're the only animals that we know of that has been created with the type of intelligence that we have to be able to use free will to do things as we see fit, as we decide to do them. We can go left, we can go right, we can go however we feel like we want to go. We have free will. We must consider the enormity of what that means. Omnipotence, godlike power. All of the prophets who have come and gone have tried to get that through to us, that we are created in that way. And because there are people who may be afraid of it, but most likely who didn't want others to know of this truth, killed those prophets, or whatever they did to shut them up, whatever they could do to shut them up, to keep people from understanding that they had within them that inherent design of free will, omnipotence, to establish a relationship with God. I know that what I'm delivering to you tonight is the right message because I'm feeling it right now. I am feeling it right now. Before we get too far into our discussion tonight about omnipotence, I want to reflect on what we've learned so far. In week 1, we did an introduction to the honesty, to the HOPE formula, the honesty, omnipotence, pure love, and essence, and an overview. So I hope that you read the first 3 chapters of the book, HOPE, Your Essence Navigation System. This little creation right here. I hope that you're enjoying that read. I hope that I do believe that you're finding value in it. And from what I'm getting from my feedback, you are finding some value. And you have, at this point, you should have written your honesty statement. And I'll read mine to you real quick. My feel-good honesty statement is, I'm feeling really good about where I am in handling the honesty piece. I know I am getting even better every day. My honesty affirmation is, I approach every situation with the integration of honesty in my approach and how I address other people. Is there anyone who would like to share their honesty statement or their honesty affirmation with us tonight? Okay. Well, the next assignment that you had was to put together your openness or omnipotence affirmation. It is our job to understand our creation, engage the powers we've created to use, and use those powers responsibly for the betterment of ourselves, our children, and our environment. It really is a crucial thing for us to understand the power of our omnipotence. Truly it is. So tonight we're going to clarify the areas of the omnipotence component, voluntarily share your happiness assessment, which we just try to do. It's okay if you don't want to share, it's all right. For a lot of people, this is a very personal set of workshops we're going through together. And if you don't want to share, you can call me at 757-696-3341, or you can email me at rickmabe@livinghopeinstitute.org, and we can discuss it in that manner as well. Your homework for tonight and the next week is going to be to read chapter 5 and complete that table. the hate table, which is a very challenging one. We all have prejudices. We all have areas that we need to work on with dealing with other human beings. And we're experiencing that a lot in our country right now, which is a very unfortunate thing, but it's something that I think we have to deal with in our growth going forward. I want us to go through the omnipotence chapter. So if you would, open your book and let's look at the omnipotence chapter, chapter 4. And if I sneeze, it's going to be because I need to sneeze. I feel one coming on. Excuse me. You'll notice that the very first statement in the omnipotence chapter, or the openness chapter as I wrote it, I'm going to do a revision to this book that's going to have that as omnipotence, because as I've said to you in my, maybe I won't, because people are afraid of omnipotence. And I think that you understand why now that you've been working with me for a little bit. Omnipotence challenges people's belief systems in what we've been taught about mysticism and about religion and about churches and about what other people challenge us with fear and mysticism. And so when I wrote this book, even though I knew that what openness was really meaning was the power, our power of God, our God-like power instilled upon us in our design, even though I knew that power, I felt like that openness was the best way to bring it forward so that people would at least open their minds up to the H.O.P.E formula and allow it to begin to come forward in their lives. So the very first thing that came to me in my research and learning about omnipotence was this: ask and it shall be given you, search and you will find, knock and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds, and for everyone who knocks the door will be opened. Jesus Christ. Of all the things that we have learned from Jesus, that is probably one of the most important statements that our Father in heaven could have given us before he departed. And I'm going to say it again. Ask and it shall be given you. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be open for you. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds, and everyone who knocks the door will be opened. I can't think of a better definition of omnipotence anywhere. God-like power. I thought of one the other day that I want to share with you. It's a very short one. There was one in the Bible that says, and I don't know the exact quote, so don't annihilate me because I don't quote it properly. But ask that mountain to move and it will move. I thought of one that says, the goal should not be to reach the peak, but to create the peak. Are you open to miracles? Are you open to receive the gifts reserved for you by your Creator? Can you open your mind and your heart to new thinking? Are you ready for your omnipotence? I used to love watching my kids play sports. This was especially true of watching them as they progressed through their educations and attended their school sporting events. They all had a love of sports, and each of them participated in one or more sports. Jen played volleyball and softball, Rick played baseball, and Dan played baseball and football. Sport was a family affair, and we all loved it. On this particular day, my youngest son, Dan, would be playing baseball for his high school team that afternoon. As I was working through my day, I was excited, as I always was, to watch my kids at play. I left work pumped, and I drove as fast as I could to get to the game. Matthews County, where we lived at the time, is a rural county on the Chesapeake Bay, It was 76 miles from where I worked in the city, and I made that commute every day. It made my work days longer, but it was worth it to provide for my family. Arrived after the game had begun. That was okay with me because I knew there would be more games to see. When I got to the ticket area, everyone was walking up to me and congratulating me for something. I had no idea what until one of the dads walked up to me and said, "Did you see that homer he hit?" "What homer he hit? Who hit?" He said Daniel had just hit a home run over the center field wall. I was devastated. I'd missed it. I'd missed my son hitting a home run, and it was too late to cheer for him and congratulate him. I wanted to cry. So I stood there for a minute, composing myself and wondering what to say to Dan. I knew he would be upset that I had not seen his homer. I thought I could tell him I saw it and act as if it had happened. That would take his appointment away. So I entered the small county stadium and immediately saw Daniel on the mound pitching. He was a decent pitcher and hitter. When the inning was over, I called him over, and before I could say anything, he said, "Did you see my homer, Dad?" I didn't need to answer because he could see it in my eyes. We were both disappointed because we had shared a love of baseball and our father-son bond was so strong. How do you share a kid's enthusiasm for what he has done if you don't witness it yourself? Oh, sure, you can pat him on the back and say, "Job well done," but if you didn't see it, you blew your chance to share it with your son. You would never get it back unless something is really spectacular happened to get that moment back. Do you ever have one of those times when you wish you could travel back in time and change something that had happened? Come on, sure you have. We've all had those moments. Well, what happened next was nothing short of miraculous. His team had just come up to bat, and Daniel came over to where I was standing. I always stood as close to the team dugout as possible. He said, "Dad, I'm sorry you missed my homer." I caught his eyes, and for a split second, we were locked in a gaze that you see when something is about to happen. I said, "Hit another one out for me, son." He said, "I'm going to hit one for you, Dad." We both knew in that moment that he would do it. There were no doubts in our connected minds. We knew that on the only outcome of his next at-bat would be a home run. I stood there and watched with a belief that only comes when you reach a state of energy and enthusiasm that is often called enlightenment, revelation, touched by God, or whatever else it might be called. I call it omnipotence. Me and Daniel experienced godlike power in that moment. He hit a second home run over the center field wall, and the rest is history. Was it a miracle? Maybe it was. I like to believe that in that moment, when I locked eyes with my son Daniel, and me and him were like were of a like mind, we were connected directly to that realm where miracles do happen, and we believed that he had the power to hit a second home run. Now, this may sound like a small thing to you because it did not change a war or outcome or did not save someone's life. But think about the odds of something like that happening. And then think about the exchange between son and father on that field. Do you believe in miracles? Or do you believe that God gave you the power to make miraculous things happen? I like to believe that it's a little bit of both. So let's explore this a bit more so you can begin to experience your own omnipotence. When Jesus stated, "Ask and you will receive," he was not speaking metaphorically. He was being matter of fact. If you believe in your power to connect to the universe and you exercise the ability of your heart, mind, and spirit, you will receive that of which you ask. And if you believe in a thing deep enough, it will come to pass as the universe aligns itself to give you what you ask for. So let's look at a definition of omnipotence. Having unlimited or universal power, authority, or force, all powerful. It's a noun, one having unlimited power or authority. There's a couple of things I want to clear up with you all before we get any further into this. I am not here to challenge your religion. I am here to help you to think about your belief system. I'm not here to become a savior. I'm not here to claim to be some kind of prophet. I am not here to start a cult. I am not here to make you give up your wealth or your power or whatever you have in order to be a member of my club. I don't ask that you give me anything. I did ask you to pay for these workshops because this is what I want to do with my life, and I do need to feed myself because we live in an economic environment. So I want to clear this up with you. I want you to understand. I believe in God as our creator. I call our creator God because that is what we have accepted as our creator to be. Yahweh is another good name for it. As a gentleman named Greg Braden, who is an author and a magnificent mind, has proven to me through his scientific writings, which you might want to read, The God Code, an amazing book he wrote that shows how we are carbon connected to God and how his name Yahweh is connected to us. I urge you to read The God Code by Greg Braden. If you want to get some solid scientific proof of our creation, I think you would find that an amazing read, and I urge you to read that one. It's referenced in here. So I just want to clear that up, that I'm not here to challenge anyone's. I'm not here to make you change your mind. I'm here to ask you to ask questions. In everything that I have learned through challenging what I'm being told. And I ask you to do the same thing. Don't just accept what I say. Don't simply accept what I tell you. Challenge me. Challenge what I have written here. Challenge what I say to you, and go do your own research and find your own answers. Because as you do the things that I'm asking you to do, you will begin to have things presented to you by other than human power. This I can say to you, you will be touched and you will receive knowledge and information that you've never received before. But I ask that you trust me. A better way to say it is, I hope that I will earn your trust in the weeks that we work together, to know that I am not here to be some kind of evangelist or anything of that nature. I'm not here for that. That's not what God has asked me to do. I am simply here to talk and to I am simply here to allow my God, our God, your God, our creator, to channel through me, to deliver whatever there is to say. Okay? So I am operating on a level of honesty, omnipotence, pure love, and essence for you, for me, and hopefully because I am the change, because I accept the authority, accountability, and responsibility for what I say, what I feel, and what I do in this lifetime going forward. I accept that authority, and I accept that that is what I'm here to do. So, one having unlimited power or authority. My beliefs are not beliefs that have been forced upon me, because I have not allowed beliefs to be forced upon me as they once were. As I was saying earlier, and I don't think that I feel that I need to continue to shed this I need to help you to shed the veil of mysticism and dishonesty that has been placed upon us by many of our leaders in the past, who have tried to force beliefs on us that were designed to hold us in oppression and in fear of our Creator, which is the furthest thing from what our Creator desires us to be. Our Creator desires us to be in relationship with Him. And with that relationship, we have the ability to create magnificently. And where we must perform is that we must perform with pure love in our hearts to avoid losing our decency. For if we lose our decency, then we lose our ability to function with accountability and responsibility in our dominion over our lives and the planet in which we are destined to live at this time. Because we have chosen to be here to learn the lessons that we must learn in the physical body that our spirit is in, we must accept the accountability that comes with being here. Our lessons are determined by God and us in partnership to help us to evolve to a higher level of consciousness for us to be able to contribute to the fabric of existence across eternity. Do you see? We have been programmed over millennia by people who understand the power of omnipotence and who have chosen to use that omnipotence in ways that have eliminated the pure love component of hope to allow themselves to gain unearned power and wealth at the cost of other humans in our tribe. Whole civilizations have risen and fallen because of that very fact, that the pure love component of the universal law of pure love has been ignored in how we conduct ourselves with our free will granted to us by our Creator. So the point I want you to understand that I'm trying to make to you is that I'm not here to do that. I have no desire to harm in any way. I'm only here to share. I feel very good right now. I hope you do too. I am feeling very, very energized, very relaxed. Okay. I want to talk to you about the mechanisms that we are given to speak and request and affirm with our Creator to assist with the ultimate goal of our essence, of integrating our essence on this plane that we live in. We've heard of the law of attraction as a universal law. We know about prayer. We know about affirmations. We know about faith. The power of prayer is relevant. It's very relevant to what we're doing. The difference between what you may know as traditional prayer and the method of praying that you're going to learn is that in the future, every time you say a prayer, you will have an absolute belief that your prayer will be answered. By utilizing the HOPE formula and ensuring that the formula is applied to every request, you are connecting directly to the targeted source of all prayers. You learned a little bit about affirmations during your introduction to HOPE. Well, HOPE integrates the power of the affirmation and the act of requesting into a new method of making a request. We call it the act of hoping. We want to have a clear understanding of what we're doing when we hope once we learn the integrated scope of HOPE. To do that, you must remove your judgment about other people's beliefs while you are reading and exercising this course. You do not have the leisure of using your preconceived paradigms to avoid facing your own reality. That's important. You do not have the leisure of using your preconceived paradigms to avoid facing your own reality. You must shed your prejudices in order for this to work. If that is hard for you to grasp, that is okay for now. Just know that your inability to face your own weaknesses is a direct result of your pre-programmed beliefs, and you will overcome with time and patience. Here is a good comparison between traditional act of prayer and the new act of HOPE that I'm suggesting. Praying is an invocation or act that seeks to activate a rapport with a deity, an object of worship, or a spiritual entity through deliberate communications. Hoping is an action that connects us directly with our Creator through the environment that He designed for us to gain knowledge and wisdom. Because we know and believe in this environment, we have a very real expectation that our hopes will be answered. Why do you think that most prayers go unanswered? It's because God chooses to ignore us? Is it because God chooses to ignore us? Is it because you are not worthy of the prayer being answered? Or is it more along the lines of not believing it can happen? And why would we not believe it can happen when we are taught the power of prayer? The answer is simple. It requires a change in attitude to embrace that answer. Many of you have been taught that faith in a higher power, so we pray and wait and wait and wait and wait. Nothing happens. Ask and you shall receive. Knock on the door and it will be opened. You have to believe that you have a connection to the universe that God created for us to tap into and use to fulfill our destinies. As I said earlier, I'm not here to debate, but to provide you with what I have learned, and you have to be the judge of the credibility of what I'm giving you. If you can accept it, you can approach this with an open mind and loving heart, then we can keep moving on. The reason I say that and the reason that this is so important is because what we're learning is a new method. We're learning a new way to communicate to God. The reason that I know what I'm talking about, the reason that I know that what I'm saying is true and real is because even right now, God is in me right now. God is connected with me right now. It's an amazing thing to know that as you're talking, that there are messages being channeled through me. I don't know if you've noticed the change in my demeanor over the last few minutes, but it has changed, I feel. That there are things being channeled through me that are not completely just of my own volition. Excuse me. We are all connected through energy and vibrations. This is discussed in later sections. And we all have the ability to receive omniscient creator-like knowledge. How do you suppose that Bill Gates and all the other people have gotten to where they are? Because they were able to do their own, they realized their essence and put together their own super puzzle for their life at a very young age. How do you suppose Albert Einstein suddenly began thinking the genius thoughts that he had? Was he different from you and me? Did he have a different basic makeup? No, he was born the same way we were. What makes him so different and so successful? How do you think I ended up here writing this book and defining hope? I discovered my dream, my essence, by searching my inner being and reawakening the child of the past. You see, I lost my life purpose when I was very young because of the environment I was in. But I finally reconnected with God through a new belief in my right to be human and to live happily. I talked to you about this a little bit in the introduction to Hope a couple of weeks ago. At a very, very early age, we know we have a flower blossoming within us from right here, growing and coming out of us. At a very young age, we begin to feel our essence beginning to blossom within us. And if we're allowed to let it go and allow it to overtake us, our essence becomes our reality and we're unstoppable. There are people out here who are amazing auto mechanics, who do amazing things with automobiles, who at a very early age began tinkering with mechanical things. And they were allowed to tinker with mechanical things until they got where they wanted to be. They're the happiest people on the planet because they are tinkerers and they are amazed by the automobile. And the same token, there were people who began looking at animals in a way that they were able to communicate with animals. They were able to embrace animals. Or maybe at an early age, they started going and finding dead animals and opening them up and looking inside to find out what was inside there. Wonderful veterinarians they became if they were allowed to do their own thing. In my case, my mother tried to allow me to blossom untethered, but there was a major component missing from my life. At a very tender age, I had no guidance from my father, and I was exposed to some very awful things, you could say, in my environment. But and this is very hard to say to sometimes because I want you to understand that these are all lessons that I needed to embrace. These are lessons that were in my makeup in order for me to be able to do what I'm doing here today with you, to be able to connect with people who have maybe experienced the same things, in order for me to be able to connect, in order for me to be able to touch and speak with people who have experienced the same thing, because that way I know how you feel. So I know that the lessons that I've experienced are okay. But at the same time, I believe that my essence, in order for my essence to blossom, I had to do it through what I went through. But it's strange how that took so long to blossom into where I am today. Do you see what I'm saying? I could not be where I am right now at the age of 62. I could not be talking to you the way that I am if I had not experienced all the things that I have to this point. I could not have embraced new thinking. I could not have embraced neo-think. I could not have accepted Mark Hamilton, Frank Wallace, Jesus Christ, Greg Braden, Paul Lipton, Eckhart Tolle, and so many others. I could not have accepted them the way that I have, if I had not experienced the things that I've experienced in my lifetime. I could not be so open to women and sexual things that I've experienced if I had not experienced the lessons that I've experienced. It's an amazing, it's just this. So to get back to where we're at, to take us back, and I'm actually reminiscing right now about, I'm on this talk about us being programmed to be certain ways by the environment around us, and how our essence may have been lost to us, how we have to reawaken the child within in order to find our essence. And I am actually going back and rehashing what has gone on with me in order for me to find my essence. But so the point is, we're all created with an essence. We're all created with a certain design to be a great value and self-leader in our determination and being a part of the fabric of existence. So that was my point. And so if you're feeling lost, fear not. It may be that you just haven't gotten there yet, and the lessons that you're experiencing right now are leading you to where you need to be. Perhaps you're not there yet. Perhaps we can help you to get there in what we're doing. On the other hand, maybe because you were programmed at a young age to do things a certain way, to be a certain way, your essence was put in the closet. Your essence was stymied. You were not allowed to be who you were meant to be. And those are the people, above all, that need to be where we're talking tonight. If you believe in a thing, that thing will come to be just as sure as the sun will rise and the sun will set every day. You become what you think about most. That is how our Creator gave us the power of creation, through the ability to conceive with conscious thought, to believe in that concept, to receive knowledge necessary for the creation, and to achieve it. Conceive, believe, receive, and achieve. Conceive, believe, and receive to achieve. If you can conceive of a thing, and if you can believe in it enough, you will receive what you need to achieve that thing. I believe, and science theology, and historical data are beginning to prove more and more that we are created with a very powerful tool that enables us to tap into the amazing library of information within our universe. Have you ever wondered what gives one person more success than others or better living conditions than others? After all, we're all born with the same brain capacity and general biological pieces and parts. Though we may appear to be different on the outside, our bodies function pretty much the same way with all races. Remember, when you create a thought and you focus on that thought, it will be transmitted to the universal field where it is stored and where God will mold that thought into a reality for you to experience. Did you get that? You are what you think about most. I'll read these statements to you that might help you get through this. All matter is made of atoms that are made up of electrical and magnetic energy. Changes in the energy will result in changes to the matter. Our heart produces the strongest electrical and magnetic energy of the body. Our feelings and beliefs, coupled with intentions, create electrical and magnetic waves that extend into the world beyond our bodies as affirmations. As affirmations. As we change our beliefs and transmit affirmations, we change the energy that forms the atoms of our world. The matter is realigned to manifest our beliefs into reality. I really hope that you'll read that and read it and read it and let that become part of your belief system. All matter is made up of atoms that are made up of electrical and magnetic energy. Changes in the energy will result in changes to the matter. Our heart produces the strongest electrical and magnetic energy of the body. Our feelings and beliefs coupled with intentions create electrical and magnetic waves that extend into the world beyond our bodies as affirmations. As we change our beliefs and transmit affirmations, we change the energy that forms the atoms of our world. The matter is realigned to manifest our beliefs into reality. Pretty amazing stuff. So when you make an affirmation and you have the belief and intentions described within hope, it will come to pass. The atoms of the universe will move and alter in order to deliver you the affirmation that you have projected into the universe. There is just too much evidence, both scientific and spiritual, to deny these basic capabilities any longer. You have the power within you to create magnificent things, and the evidence is there, and in this book, I lay out the puzzle for you. I know that this may challenge some of your current belief codes, but believe me when I say to you that the book you are reading now was only made possible because I chose to reprogram my thinking to allow my mind to open to new thinking, and I altered my belief in my belief system to allow for the new discoveries to be given unbiased space in the part of my brain that computes data into information and into belief. There are many books and articles written about ways to reprogram your thinking, and I have read many such works. However, the most powerful texts I have come across on this subject include those works by Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and Mark Hamilton. The place to start is probably the works by Mark Hamilton. He has a way of delivering information through his writings that causes one to continually ask why. It is that seed planted in my mind years ago that has helped me to evolve my thinking to the point where I am now. So my point is that in this book, you will begin to see subtle changes in your view of the world and the people and environment around you. And these changes will only strengthen the base of your belief in honesty, hope, omnipotence, pure love, and essence, your hope. It does you no good to torment yourself with the past or stress yourself over the future. You are not a loser. There are no losers. There are no losers in hope. The only time you have the ability to change or create anything is in the now. What you say and do right now is what perhaps will define your future, so try hard not to look into the past for answers nor look for a crystal ball for the future. Part of being honest with yourself is to know that you are creatively powerful only at this moment. This is not to say that what you do today will not have a powerful impact on the future only that you can only create in the here and now. So you have to live in the now. So be prepared to create at any time. Accept that you can neither change the past nor can you live in the future now. You can only live in the now. For further information on now, you should schedule a read of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment, which is a very good book. Are you aware of your surroundings? Do you have a thought that needs awareness? Do you have a group of people who share your beliefs? Are you conscious of your omnipotence? Be aware of it and begin to think about this. Now, I want to talk to you just for a minute about being prepared. As you go through this with me, and afterwards, after you've probably forgotten all about me, things will be brought to you. There will be situations and circumstances that will seem like coincidences. There are no coincidences. When you're standing in line at the post office and you feel like there's something about to happen, believe that there is something about to happen and be very alert. When you wake up in the morning and you do your breathing exercise and you prepare for the day, remember that you are connecting with God and the universe and that you are preparing yourself for what's about to happen. Be alert, be prepared, be ready for what action might come, because there will be things delivered to you. And when that time comes, when that is brought to you, you can either choose to get on that horse and ride or to let it go. Always be prepared for what's going to come your way, because it will come. I have chosen some and I have left some beside, let some things go, things that I wish I had not let go. But that's okay, because these are lessons that you learn. There's just lessons you have to learn. Don't be afraid of it. Challenge all that you know, challenge all that you're told, but be prepared. Be prepared for these things. Always be prepared for that next event, because they're going to come. You're going to be given opportunities, because you're going to open yourself up to that opportunity to come your way. Your Creator added some very powerful attributes to you when you were designed. The human brain is more powerful and has the capacity to store and access more data than the largest, most complex computer. Recent discoveries have been made that say the heart is the most powerful organ in the body. The heart sends messages to your brain to cause your body to do things and your mind to think things. To quote Gandhi, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. Your belief code is what moves you to action. It's what molds your life. And your belief code comes from your environment. Where and with whom you were raised is how you are programmed with certain beliefs. Whether those beliefs are right or wrong is not what is important as much as what you are willing to believe now and reprogram your beliefs to send you on the road to happiness and prosperity. There have been many books written and movies produced about belief and how we are programmed. I urge you to read The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton and The Spontaneous Healing of Belief by Gregg Braden. Your beliefs are what will either open up your omnipotence or keep you locked away. What are the rules of here that we must master in order to live heaven or earth, on earth or elsewhere? It matters little about where we find heaven. What matters is that we find the keys to unlock our own heaven, as each of us defines it using the formula for hope. Because it is my belief that we can either make heaven here or hell here on earth. I want to read a couple of things from Gregg Braden to you right now. And we're going to get into a little bit of science here in a minute, okay? Take a break. We'll take a break in a minute so we can get a drink, and then we'll carry on with this. And but first, I want to touch base with this on this radio. In his book, The Spontaneous Healing of Belief, Gregg Braden brings forth the following facts that are a result of research performed in the 1990s and early 2000s. Fact number one: The universe, our world, and our bodies are made of a shared field of energy that was scientifically recognized in the 20th century and is now defined by names that include the field, the quantum hologram, the mind of God, nature's mind, and the divine matrix. Fact number 2. On the field of the divine matrix, things that have been connected physically and then separated act as if they are still linked through a phenomenon known as entanglement. Fact number 3. Human DNA directly influences what happens in the divine matrix in a way that appears to defy the laws of time and space. Fact number 4. Human belief and the feelings and emotions surrounding it directly change the DNA that affects what occurs in the divine matrix. Fact number 5. When we shift our beliefs about our bodies and our world, the divine matrix translates that change into the reality of our lives. I'll read fact number 5 one more time. When we shift our beliefs about our bodies and our world, the divine matrix translates that change into the reality of our lives. Now, I want to ask you something. Given that science is beginning to understand that belief is so powerful that it can change our environment, what are you ready to do about your belief system? When you think about what is happening in our world right now, wait just a minute. When our belief system is of such a malignant system that it takes away from our connection to God, that we ignore the basic universal laws of honesty, omnipotence, and pure love, we cannot function as humans were designed to function. When our belief system directs us away from honesty, we cannot function the way that our free will designed us to function. The way our free will was designed to help us function. The way that we have been treating ourselves and others in our tribe is a direct result of the sickness that is our belief system, the belief systems that have been designed by people with darkness to control, which explains why our environment has become what it has become. We must heal our belief system by becoming the change through honesty and omnipotence in having accountability and responsibility for how we handle ourselves. Do you see? Let's take a break for a minute. Okay. Now let's look at some science. Now this came to me from research and directly from God, and so I want to, and this is hard for a lot of people to grasp, but I want you to bear with me while I go through this. It took me over a year to bring this out. When you pray, you're sending a message in the universe for an answer. God is our creator, and he created the universe as a transmission station for receiving, deciphering, and sending back answers to our requests. And our bodies are the towers of power to manifest our received knowledge into reality. Let me try that again. When you pray or hope, you are sending a message into the universe for an answer. God is our creator, and he created the universe as a transmission station for receiving, deciphering, and sending back answers to our requests. And our bodies are the towers of power to manifest our received knowledge into reality. On page 56 of the book, you can see what I did to draw a picture of what I believe is our transmission system. And the drawing is a representation of you as a transmitter and a receiver of messages and of energy exchanges. The I represents you and your I-ness, which is your soul. The soul is often referred to as conscience, HNS, your heart to brain network. This is known as what I call your honesty navigation system. While there are very different attributes to each life, I believe that every human is born with this honesty navigation system. Without it, we make no progress. It is an integration of the vibrations that resonate throughout every aspect of your being and through every other living thing in the universe. However, to say that all honesty navigation systems are in full operation for every human in the same exact way would be incorrect. While we all have the same ability to transmit and receive energy from the universe, the level to which each human may send and receive is a direct culmination of what the individual human believes that power to be. Remember what I talked about with belief a few minutes ago. Our belief, it's all about belief. Belief is absolutely strength, is absolutely all powerful. Okay, so going back to the drawing on page 56. The large star in our drawing represents your 5 points of energy reception and emission. The head, the hands, and the feet are all terminal points for receiving and transmitting frequencies. The pentagon represents the energy field that is constantly enveloping you. The large circle represents the universal field of knowledge that has been created for you to tap into. And the little squiggly lines are symbols for resonance. The smaller stars represent other humans. There are a few key things to remember about this diagram. Now, there's one other thing I want to put in here. I have recently revamped this drawing to where each one of those stars has a heart inside it, because the heart is really the strong transmitter of the energies. Okay, so keep in mind that your heart is the actual transmitter of energy waves. So remember these key things. First, you need to know that all living things operate at certain frequencies. We're all made of energy, and all of us communicate certain messages through those frequencies. 2, when we send a request to the universe, we are transmitting our desires into the universal field, and the field begins to pattern our surroundings to answer that request. When we are operating in a resonance that matches our purpose in life, then we are balanced and our energy is more powerful. The science of frequencies and resonance states that when you match the frequencies of two waves and send them on a path of integration, the power of that wave will double. The two waves are resonating at the matched frequency. This also applies to groups of people where we have gathered and share a common vision and send a request in matched frequencies. The power of the church or other spiritual gathering place should never be underestimated in its power. This power can be positive or negative depending on the mood or doctrine of the church or group. Be careful that you know who you are gathering with and what their true motives are before engaging in focused thought with a group. That's very important, folks, because there are certain religious groups, religious congregations who are not clean, if I can use that word, who are more dark energy than light. I think you know someone I might be talking about. 5, when we are operating in a mode that does not match our purpose, we are unable to transmit as powerfully, and the waves we send out will not match the frequency of our purpose, and the wave flattens. 6, static contributes a great deal to the negative resonance we create. We create a static that keeps us from sending and receiving messages properly. This is where all the great teachers and prophets talk about. They use meditation, forgiveness, focused thought, love-ins, and other exercises designed to clear the static of everyday living. Make no mistake, there's a critical aspect of your new formula for living, and you must get your frequency to match your purpose. Static consists of anything that disrupts the frequency with which you resonate. These include, among other things, ego, bad greed, envy, gluttony, deceit, killing, lying, stealing, incest, mysticism, etc. If you don't know what your purpose is, it's probably because you have so much static. When I am talking to you, when I am sitting here doing this, and when I'm reading and when I'm writing about hope and I'm writing about the things that I've learned, I'm resonating at a very high frequency, and it feels so good. Just wanted to add that little thing here. In the world of medicine, quantum physics has invented methods for detection of disease. MRIs, CAT scans use energy to read the specific energy spectra emitted by our body's organs and tissues. The normal tissue of a breast emits an energy pattern, and the diseased tissue breast emits a different energy pattern. So the doctor can see cancer in a woman's breast. Our ability to transmit and receive power enhancing vibrations from within ourselves as well as in a crowd of people is very real, and you want to learn how to use that ability to define and transmit your hope, request to the universe, and to better interact with other humans. Looking at the diagram of human resonance on the previous page, you can see that when you and another human are vibrating with matched frequencies and your energy waves converge, the integration of the two waves will result in a doubling of energy waves being transmitted. But imagine what would happen if you had a group of people with a common vision for the development of something. When everyone in the group is vibrating at the same frequency and you want to send the same message to the universe, the power of that harmonic balance created by that group is exponentially expanded. It is through these emanations of energy, vibrations, and resonance that our Creator can receive our message of hope and arrange things to make that hope into a reality. Cluttered thoughts create static, and static causes your energy vibrations to be out of balance. There are actions in here to remove the clutter and get your static out so that you can begin to resonate. Okay? You should do this exercise to get your clutter out so that you can start resonating at a higher frequency. So I want you to make a list of happy things and unhappy things, and I want you to start thinking about the things that you can do to control, the things you control, the things you cannot control. You've got to start removing the clutter from your life, from your thinking, not so much from your life, because a lot of things you cannot get rid of. So that about covers the omnipotent chapter. And I hope that you have gone in and done something with your workbook to identify your omnipotence affirmation. It is our job to understand our creation, engage the powers we were created to use, and use those powers responsibly for the betterment of ourselves, our children, and our environment. So I want you to list all the unhappy things in your life that you have no power to control. Then write all the unhappy things in your life that you do have control over. Then each day, I want you to pick one of your unhappy things you can control and do the exercise you were instructed on to begin removing that negative thing from your thinking. It does you no good to keep thinking about the things you have no control over. The next thing you need to do is take one of the unhappy things each day that you can develop a positive affirmation for changing that unhappy clutter from your belief system for the things that you can control. Do it and do it every day. I'm not going to share mine with you because they're personal. Unhappy things don't generally mean to be shared with people because they are, most of the time they're pretty personal. But I will share with you my openness affirmation that I did. I am in tune with my planet and my creator, so I feel balanced every day. My notes that I will be happy to share with you as well are the following. Remember to connect with God every night and do that by opening my heart to that energy. And also remember to breathe every morning and to promise to practice what you preach every day. I struggle with this. Getting better, but I struggle with it. There is so much information now available to prove what I'm saying to you about the heart being the imminent and the transmitter of energy and messages. We are learning so much more about the human body and the human brain and the heart that were never known before, about how powerful we are in transmitting, and why we transmit is the most crucial thing. The most crucial thing that we can think about is why are these powerful transmissions happening? Why are they there? What's the purpose of us having this powerful resonance that we can do? What's it for? It can't be just because. Everything has a purpose. There's not just some random thing. Everything has a purpose. And it's my belief that that purpose is so that we can resonate together and resonate with the universe that God created for us to be with, be connected to. We have only just begun to touch on the powers that we have and the powers that we were granted. And the reason that we have not gotten completely tuned into those powers is because we don't understand how to control ourselves. We don't understand how to be humans at the same time that we are powerful. If we were not in these bodies, who knows what we'd be capable of with our energy selves. But we have chosen to be in these bodies to learn the lessons we've learned to be able to become more powerful and more enlightened about being conscious and about helping contribute to the fabric of existence. I hope that you have found value in what we have done here tonight. Next time I would like you, of course, I want you to read the Pure Love chapter, and we will talk about how to shed our misunderstandings about our humanness, about our compassion for one another, and our need to really, really understand what it means to love without judgment. But I hope that you are beginning to embrace the idea that it's okay to be connected with God. It's okay to not feel fear, to not feel that you have to cow down to some religious fanatical theology in order for you to have a relationship with our God, because that just doesn't even make sense based on the knowledge and the proof and the evidence that I have found. Challenge me, challenge what you're hearing from me, challenge what you read, challenge everything. Go look. Read the books that I've recommended to you. Please read God Code. Read The Spontaneous Healing of Belief. Read The Biology of Belief. Read Eckhart Tolle's book, Living in the Now, The Power of Now. Go back and read the Bible with a little bit of a different aspect, a different perspective about what Jesus was trying to teach, and be honest about what you're reading. Truthfully, be honest about what you're seeing and hearing all around you. Because as you experience what I've been experiencing and what some other people that are close to me and that know me and that we know each other have been experiencing, you are going to start understanding things in a whole different level, on a whole different level. And what you choose to do with that, of course, is up to you. I have been guilty of to some degree of letting be in a holding pattern. I have people around me who I love and who I spend my life with who don't quite understand and who I enjoy being around, and I enjoy experiencing the life that I'm experiencing here. I'm afraid to let go of that, as many of you are, and so I pay the price for that. I do pay a price. I was writing, I responded to someone today. They said, why do you continue to talk about the dark things and the negative things that are going on in our country? And there were some comments about how I choose not to allow that into my life and this and that. And my response to that was, to be a self-leader, you have to address everything with honesty. I'm living, feeling, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to look at or be involved with the dark side of your environment. However, if you don't honestly look at what is happening around you, then you cannot expect the change to happen, because you are ignoring it, because you are not being the change. You are not becoming part of the change. It's okay if you're living hope and you are you being a hope individual, but at the same time you need to be aware of what is happening. But if you're like me and you have been asked to deliver a message and you've been asked to help people to understand what they need to do, I also have to be aware of what is going on around us in order to be able to use examples and to be able to say, listen, we are, how I talked about earlier about civilizations have risen and fallen because of the maligning of the universal laws that we talk about here. When you malign honesty, when you ignore omnipotence and the authority, accountability, responsibility that comes with being the omnipotent creations that we are, when you decide to ignore the universal law of pure love and how that applies to all of us around the world, when you are rising in power, when you manipulate other people in order to gain your wealth and power to the point where it hurts other people so badly, then you are ignoring the universal laws that we have been given and asked to live by. Therefore, in order for you to be a Hope human being, you cannot ignore what is going on around you in your environment. Your beliefs create the environment that you're in. Therefore, we must, to some degree, help others to understand what it is that we understand. We must help others to understand how important it truly is to live life with hope in our hearts. And with that, I'm going to say good night, but we must learn to live and to get back to a life of hope, honesty, omnipotence, pure love and essence. It just makes sense. So good night. I love you. Go read the next chapter on pure love. Do your pure love affirmation and be prepared to share it with me next week if you'd like. If not, it's okay. But think about God and your omnipotent connection with Him and start feeling that energy running through you. Until next time, good night. I love you. Have a good week.